banking industry urged to stay competitive in post-normal times. Suggestion for designated smoking areas not finalised. Salam Malaysia Madani, I am Olivia Nicholas and you're watching Malaysia Tonight. His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim, King of Malaysia, today granted an audience to members of the Royal Commission of Inquiry (RCI) to review the handling of cases involving the sovereignty of Batu Putih, Baton Tengah and Tubir Selatan at Istana Negara. According to the post on Sultan Ibrahim's Facebook page, during the audience, His Majesty also presented the members of the RCI with their instruments of appointment. Also present was the Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Law and Institutional Reform, Dato Sri Azalina Othman Said. On the 14th of February, it was reported that Sultan Ibrahim had consented to the setting up of an RCI and the appointment of 7 RCI members, including former Chief Justice Tun Muhammad Raus Sharif as the chairman, former Federal Court Judge Tan Sri Zainul Ali as the deputy chairman. In October last year, Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim said the issue of Batu Putih could be resolved with the direct involvement of the Attorneys General of Malaysia and Singapore. The Prime Minister also urged the Attorney General to hold talks with the Singapore government on the controversy concerning the claims over Batu Putih. The government is urging the country's banking industry to remain competitive in dealing with the concurrent 3C phenomenon, complexity, chaos and contradictions in post-normal times. Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim said that given the financial industry's vital role in supporting the national economy, banks need to have a strong ability to stay competitive amid the 3C.
Tunggak dalam sistem ekonomi negara itu juga institusi keuangan. Dan kalau institusi keuangan itu gagah perkasa dan diyakini, ia akan membantu perhatian dan keyakinan rakyat dan pelabur sama ada domestik atau luar negara.
In his speech at the launch of My Impact SME Hub organised by Maybank, Dato Sri Anwar said banks should also bear the responsibility along with the government to ensure the success of economic reforms highlighted in the Madani Economy framework. He said the framework aims to effect an economic transformation by raising economic value in the global supply chain as well as improving the sustainability of the national economy. Apart from Japan and South Korea, the government remains committed in sending Malaysian students to undergo technical and vocational education and training TVET studies in China. Deputy Prime Minister Dato Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said the move was among efforts detailed within the Look East Policy 2.0.
Selain dari Jepun dan Korea, saya yakin hasrat Perdana Menteri adalah untuk melihat penghantaran pelajar-pelajar daripada Malaysia ke China juga untuk mempelajari beberapa bidang ilmu yang berteknologi tinggi. Dan dalam dasar Padang ke Timur 1.0 itu tidak memasukkan negara China. Sedangkan negara China juga sama advance, kalaupun tidak lebih daripada negara Jepun dan Korea sendiri.
He said this during his visit to the National Institute of Technology, Tokyo College, Tokyo Kosen, to gain valuable insights into Japan's exemplary TVET system. The Deputy Premier is currently on a 7-day working visit to Japan, which began on Saturday. Similarly, in November last year, Malaysia and China agreed to establish TVET institutions to provide Malaysian students skills in new fields, including electric vehicles, artificial intelligence, communications and digitalization, and solar power technology. Dato Sri Ahmad Zaid said the TVET institutions will be supervised by Majlis Amanah Rakyat, MARA, and the students will get exposure from Chinese companies operating in Malaysia and be hired by them as well. The suggestion to provide designated smoking areas, particularly for eateries in tight spaces, is yet to be finalised. Health Minister Dato Sri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said the ministry remains open to receiving views and suggestions from the public, including input gathered through the recent engagement session with premises owners and traders.
Ini kita adakan libat urus dengan 30 lebih pemilik premis penjaja semua. Kalau ia diminta, kami akan pertimbangkan dan kita akan lihat kepada practicality, kemunasabahan, ya, perkara itu dilakukan. Maksudnya kami mendengar.
Media previously reported that the MOH would consider providing designated smoking areas for dining premises in tight spaces, as done in developed countries like Singapore, Japan and Hong Kong. This is because it was difficult for these types of eateries to adhere to the 3-distance rule currently enforced. The Home Ministry, through the Immigration Department, is conducting a study to extend the validity period of passports to 10 years compared to current 5 years. Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said this is because several countries had already practiced the 10-year passport validity period. Speaking to reporters after the opening of the Shaftesbury Passport Office in Putrajaya today, he also said such a move would be in line with the practice in several ASEAN countries, including Thailand, Indonesia, Singapore and the Philippines.
Jabatan Imigresen juga sekarang sedang dalam proses untuk melakukan satu kajian bagi memperkenalkan pasport dengan tempoh sah laku 10 tahun. Pasport kita sekarang 5 tahun. Sama ada kita nak kekal 5 atau menuju ke arah 10 tahun, kita akan lakukan satu fasa kajian.
The Immigration Services Union made the proposal to, among other things, ease congestion at application counters. On another matter, Dato Sri Saifuddin said the Home Ministry is seeking an accurate picture and will check the facts related to the 3 leaders of non-governmental organizations, NGOs, in Malaysia who are listed in the United States Terrorist Screening Center by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI. The minister said he had contacted Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussein regarding the matter.
Saya pun baru mencarakan dengan media. Saya telah menghubungi Tan Sri Ketua Polis Negara dan juga untuk memberikan saya gambaran yang lebih tepat berkenaan dengan perkara itu. Yang kita tahu adalah FBI membuat request berkenaan dengan perkara itu. Ya, jadi kita kena semak dulu fakta yang tepat.
It was reported that the Foreign Ministry had instructed for the 3 individuals on the list to no longer be involved with Ops Ihsan, which oversees the delivery of humanitarian aid from Malaysia to the people of Palestine in Gaza. Ops Ihsan Secretariat Chairman Jisim Johari previously confirmed the validity of the notification letter he received from the Foreign Ministry. The Royal Malaysian Customs Department seized 5,000 bottles of Zamzam water worth more than 1.26 million ringgit attempted to be smuggled into the country at the Bukit Kayu Hitam Immigration Customs, Quarantine and Security Complex on the 13th of February. Kedah Customs Director Nur Izzah Abdul Latif said the Zamzam water was seized from a container lorry driven by a Thai man. She said the Zamzam water bottles were hidden in the back part of the container while the front part was filled with boxes containing fabric softeners to conceal the smuggled items.
Fabric softener tu diikrar sebagai dummy saja sebenarnya untuk mengaburi pihak custom. Sebab bila kita tengok dia susun penuh dekat depan pintu kontena tu, ya, dan air zam-zam ni di belakang. So seperti yang tuan-tuan sini maklum juga, air zam-zam ni adalah barang yang diklasifikasikan sebagai barang larangan import.
Briefing reporters today, Nur Izzah said the Malaysian Ministry of Health also confirmed that no distributor or company in Malaysia has been granted a license to import and sell Zamzam water. Coming up next, traditional and complementary medicine practitioners exempted from 8% service tax. Bursa Malaysia's barometer index continued to hover at its highest level in 20 months despite a choppy trading session throughout the day due to profit-taking activities. At 5 p.m, the Bursa Malaysia KLCI gained 5.06 points to end at 1,538.61 compared to Friday's close of 1,533.55 as most heavyweights rebounded from earlier losses. Losers comprising mostly lower liners outpaced gainers 554 to 446 on the broader market, while 459 counters were unchanged, 839 untraded and 9 others suspended. Traditional and complementary medicine or TCM practitioners who are registered under the TCM Act 2016, Act 775 will be exempted from the 8% service tax. Second Finance Minister Dato Sri Amir Hamzah Azizan today said as long as the TCM practitioners are registered with the Act under the Health Ministry, they will be exempted from the service tax that will come into effect on the 1st of March. In line with this decision, he said TCM practitioners who have registered under the Act do not need to register with the Royal Malaysian Customs Department. Subsequently, they must not impose the service tax on the following services: Malay traditional medicine, Chinese traditional medicine, Indian traditional medicine, homeopathy, chiropractic, osteopathy, and Islamic medical practices. The Finance Ministry has also agreed that this decision applies to services provided by medical or wellness centres, massage parlours or such other places managed by TCM practitioners. In a related development, TCM practitioners who have collected service tax since 2018 are required to submit and remit them back to the government, according to the Ministry of Finance. Deputy Finance Minister Lim Hoi Ying said that those TCM practitioners who have not collected the tax have to declare it to the Customs Department.
We are not going to, track back. That means if you have collected from your patients, or rather the sales tax, they have to, whatever that you have collected, you have to remit to the government.
She said this to reporters after attending the Creative KL Grants Program and Urban Challenge Awards ceremony in Kuala Lumpur today. She explained that TCM practitioners have been included in the service tax since 2018, as those that have 500,000 ringgit in revenue in a year are supposed to register and pay the tax accordingly. A total of 73.13% of companies involved in film and drama production are unaware of the requirement to obtain a public entertainment license before employing child and young actors. This was revealed by Chief Statistician Datuk Sri Dr. Muhammad Uzair Mahidin when launching the report on the study for employment of child and young persons actor in film and drama in Peninsular Malaysia 2023. He said the study also revealed that 52.9% of the companies had never applied for a public entertainment license for children and young persons, and 47.1% were unsure about the application process for such a license. In terms of payment, he said the study showed that 83.7% of individuals who receive payment on behalf of child and young actors are their parents or guardians.
Penerimaan bayaran didapati ibu merupakan individu tertinggi menerima bayaran bagi pelakon kanak-kanak dan orang muda ini, iaitu sebanyak 50.42%. Bapa sebanyak 18.84%. Penjaga, maknanya penjaga ini selain ibu dan bapa lah. Penjaga sebanyak 14.40%.
A total of 361 companies that employ child and young actors in film and dramas were involved in answering the questionnaire for the study. The study, conducted from the 8th of February to the 31st of December last year, was policy-orientated research aimed at providing a basic profile, identifying issues and proposing appropriate recommendations to parties involved. Malaysia's economy is expected to maintain its growth trajectory this year at a faster rate of between 4.4% and 4.8%. Maybank Investment Bank has maintained Malaysia's 2024 real gross domestic product growth forecast at 4.4%, underpinned by resilient consumer spending, a rebound in exports of goods and services, as well as positive investment growth momentum. Given the stable Bank Negara Malaysia's monetary policy and job market, coupled with Budget 2024's income measures to offset the outlook of higher inflation, the investment bank expects consumer spending will be resilient this year. In addition, it expects a rebound in exports of goods and services amid signs of the manufacturing sector upturn, underpinned by the technology industry upcycle and sustained tourism recovery momentum. Meanwhile, Hong Leong Investment Bank anticipates Malaysia's economy to grow at a faster pace of 4.8% year-on-year, led by continued household spending, tourism recovery and realization of investments. On inflation, the bank continues to expect BNM to maintain the overnight policy rate at 3% for the rest of the year. Public Investment Bank Berhad said Malaysia's promising outlook would elevate the country's real GDP growth to 4.7% in 2024, a revision from its earlier projection of 4.5%. It said the implementation of strategic initiatives is expected to elevate Malaysia's real GDP growth, supported by robust domestic demand, continued foreign direct investment inflows, sustained and prospective investments, and a resurgence in electronic exports amid tech cycle recuperation. The Melaka government is targeting to have 350 electric vehicle charging bays, EVCBs, in the state by 2025, in line with the planning guidelines for the setting up of the EVCB set by Town and Country Planning Development Department Plan Malaysia. Chief Minister Datuk Sri Abdul Rauf Yusof said that currently 118 direct current and alternating current EVCBs have been installed at 40 locations throughout Melaka, particularly in urban areas. He said the state government welcomes the initiative and will adopt the planning guidelines in all applications for the setting up of the EVCBs in the state. He proposed for the Melaka Green Technology Cooperation to act promptly to ensure its role and function as the main driver of green technology development in the state.
Dengan pertambahan tempat pengecasan kenderaan elektrik ini, kita menggalakkan supaya pelancong yang datang menggunakan kenderaan hybrid ataupun elektrik boleh berkunjung di negeri Melaka dengan kesetiaadaan kawasan pengecas yang akan berkembang di negeri Melaka.
He was met after launching the EV charging hub at Concept Hotel by EV Power Sdn Bhd today. Elaborating, Dato Sri Abdul Rauf said that the initiatives undertaken by PTHM and EV Power will enhance efforts to promote low-carbon mobility practices not only among the people of Melaka but also the country. Perusahaan Automobil Nasional Sdn Bhd Proton targets to break through the 1,000 units of sales barrier by the end of this year in Brunei, with continuing strong interest in the Proton X50 and other models, as well as the introduction of the Proton S70. In a statement today, the automobile maker said it sold 789 units in Brunei in 2023, skyrocketing by 87% compared to 422 units sold in 2022. Proton said total industry volume for Brunei closed at 14,640 units for 2023, up from 13,000 units for 2022. Proton International Sales Division Director Stephen Zhu said the Proton X5 has been the best-selling Proton X series model since its introduction in October 2020, with over 100,000 units rolled off the assembly line at Proton's state-of-the-art factory in Tanjung Malim. Using 2023's success as a platform, Zhu said both Proton and its importers, Pad Motors, were confident of achieving more than 1,000 units in sales for Brunei in 2024. He said the key to achieving the goal was the introduction of the all-new Proton S70, which is due to occur before the end of February. Proton added that Brunei is the first international market to receive the S70, and 15 units were shipped there last month ahead of its official launch. China's challenger to Airbus and Boeing's passenger jets, the narrow-body C919 manufactured by the Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China, made its first trip outside China territory on Sunday, staging a flyby at the Singapore Air Show. The plane is only certified within China, and the first of now 4 C919s began flying with China Eastern Airlines last year. China's aviation authorities said last month it would this year pursue European Union Aviation Safety Agency validation for the C919, a process which began in 2018. With Airbus and Boeing struggling to ramp up production and meet demand for new planes, and Boeing struggling with a string of crises, the aviation industry is watching how Cosmac positions itself as a viable alternative. Nintendo shares fell 6% today after reports by Games Media and Bloomberg that its next generation console will be delayed until early 2024 from later this year. While Nintendo has not commented on plans for a successor device beyond, saying that it is always working on new hardware and software, the Kyoto-based gaming firm is widely expected to be planning to launch a new device to succeed its aging Switch console. The company raised the full-year sales forecast for the Switch earlier this month as the hybrid home portable device continues to attract consumers even as it nears its 8th year on the market. Still
ahead at World Court. Palestinians demand end of Israeli occupation. Thai prosecutors will conduct further investigations into whether former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra broke a royal defamation law a day after the billionaire's release on a parole in a separate graft case.
Thailand's Attorney General has now allowed further investigation into claims the 74-year-old broke the royal defamation law in comments he made in South Korea in 2015. Prosecutors have asked Thaksin to appear in April, at which point they could announce they are prosecuting him or ask for more time to conduct investigations. Thaksin attended a meeting at the Attorney General's office in a wheelchair and spoke in a barely audible voice. According to the director of its crime division, and bail was set at 500,000 baht. The country's lèse majesté law is intended to protect the king from insult, and those breaking it can face up to 15 years in jail per offence.
Palestinian Foreign Minister Riyad al-Maliki told the UN's top court today that his people were suffering colonialism and apartheid under the Israelis as judges weigh the legal consequences of Israelis' occupation. The ICJ is holding hearings all week on the legal implications of Israelis' occupation since 1967, with an unprecedented 52 countries expected to give evidence.
Nations including the United States, Russia and China will address judges at the Peace Palace in The Hague, seat of the International Court of Justice, ICJ. The minister urged the court to declare the occupation illegal and order it to stop immediately, totally and unconditionally. In December 2022, the UN General Assembly asked the ICJ for a non-binding advisory opinion on the legal consequences arising from the policies and practices of Israel in the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem. While any ICJ opinion would be non-binding, it comes amid mounting international legal pressure on Israel over the war in Gaza. The hearings are separate from a high-profile case brought by South Africa alleging that Israel is committing genocidal acts during the current Gaza offensive.
Indian farmers paused protest in the northern Punjab-Haryana border as they sought legal and agricultural advice on the 5-year minimum support price plan proposed by the government.
The Indian government has offered guaranteed support prices for pulses, corn and cotton in a bid to break a deadlock with protesting farmers, Trade Minister Piyush Goyal said after week-long clashes between security forces and protesters. The farmer unions said they would decide on the proposal within a week or two after conferring among themselves to reach a consensus. Tear gas and barricades were used to deter the farmers, an influential voting bloc in India, months ahead of a general election due by May, in which Prime Minister Narendra Modi seeks a record third time.
That's it from us this evening. In our top story, banking industry urged to stay competitive in post-normal times. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thanks for watching.